Onto the collar. So as I mentioned before, I've worn the Harley costume for 4 years, and every year I've made a different collar because I'm never satisfied with how it looks. This is the first collar I made. It's really dirty because when I washed the costume, all the ink from the bodysuit bled onto the collar. So ignoring that, this is what it looked like on. I didn't really like it because it looked too bib-like. Like this was too wide. These were too over into my arms, so this design was a no-go. This was my second design. It's similar to the first one. It's a different material. It's a little more lighter. It still had the wide shoulders, and I didn't like that it popped up off my shoulders. It didn't fit right. This one I seamed in the back. This was my latest one. I liked it. It was a lot smaller, you can see, but it still pokes up off my shoulders. This is where the seam was. So I'm going to start with this template, and I'm actually going to alter it a little bit so it lays better on my body. I guess the moral of this story is there's a lot of trial and error in this collar design to get it to lay right. So I pretty much just take some newspaper and a Sharpie and lay it on. I decided to do a smaller neck hole so it actually holds up to my neck. And then I just start tracing a right design that kind of is going to look right. And I know the reference, it looks like the collar goes like across her shoulder, but it doesn't look right. I know, experience, it doesn't fall right. I want it to look more flush, and I've seen lots of other good cosplays where they actually shorten it, and it looks much better. I folded it in half so both sides were the same and cut out my template. So once I was completely satisfied with my pattern, I cut out a front and a back, and I double lined them. So for each side of the collar, so this is the front, I cut out 2 sides so it is double facing, and then I hemmed the edges together and sewed the dingle boppies on. The edges and the inner neck seam is open still. I did that for both pieces, and now is just kind of where the adjusting goes. So what I've been doing is I've just been playing with it, and I finally pinned up the edges to how much I need to shrink it. And as you can see, there's a really steep slope on the edges. I'm hoping that's going to make it sit downward, and this color is going to lay flat on my shoulder instead of sticking up. So just play around with it. This is my back piece. This is how I folded it over. I'm just folding it in half and then matching the same fold on both sides. Okay. So I cut off each edge on that angle. So I'm going to fold it inside out and stitch the shoulder seam together. So there, it's done. Both the shoulder seams are sewed together and turned right side out. So do that for the front and the back. Now you should have 2 separate pieces, front and the back, the shoulder seams completely hemmed together. And what we're going to do is we're just going to top stitch one of the sides together. I'm hoping that will make it lay more flush and flat on my shoulder. Go ahead and zigzag top stitch one of the shoulder seams together. For the other, we're going to have to sew on some hook and eyes so you'll be able to get it over your head and on your shoulders. So as you can see, as I'm sewing these two together, they're really, really tight but not overlapping. And my zigzag is barely going over each one. How far apart it zigzags is about at 3, 3 and 4. And then as I stitch, it's at 3. So my one shoulder is stitched together. You can see it's already laying pretty flat and it goes down on my shoulder. That's exactly what I want. I finished the whole thing by hemming the top. I turned the 2 pieces inside and top stitched it. So the last thing I do is I add some hook and eyes to the last open piece. And I don't add the little stand-up collar. I've tried like 100 times to try and sew it on, and it never looks right. It's either too big, too baggy, it doesn't fold right. I don't do it. So this is my completed collar.